Hey guys, this is Guy from iTunes HQ, and this last week I had a chance to try the Babolat Pure Strike 18x20 third generation for the first time ever, and I'm really excited to share with you what I thought about this racket. Well, before we get started, just wanted to give a quick shout out to Karue, our fellow iTunes HQ co-founder, who was part of Naomi Osaka's team as she won her third Grand Slam title, the 2020 US Open. It's just such a cool experience, and I'm just like mind blown until today that Karue was able to be a part of that. Even with COVID, it is such a cool feat to be a part of her team and just help her get to that third Grand Slam title, and it's a really cool accomplishment, and we can't wait for him to share with you some experiences and his thoughts on the whole process. But just jumping back into today's video, I was able to test the Babolat Pure Strike 18x20 for the first time ever, and this was a really positive experience. This was not what I was expecting. There were two really cool things I liked about it, one not so much, and I really wanted to share that with you. So let's just jump right into it. So let's start by taking a quick look at the racket specs for this Babolat Pure Strike. The head size is 98 square inches, so it's just a standard 98 head size. I did feel like this gave me a good enough sweet spot that it was forgiving in the sense of when I didn't really hit the exact sweet spot in the middle of the racket, it still allowed me to execute pretty solid shots in both sides, both forehand, backhand, and in the serve as well. The strung weight is 11.4 ounces or 323 grams. Quite medium to heavy racket. This is going to be a little bit more medium to advanced players, or even beginners, but who just have the body type to handle this racket. So 11.4 ounces, quite a comfortable weight for all sorts of player levels, as long as you have good enough technique. So the balance of the Babolat Pure Strike 18x20 is 4 points headlight. I felt like it was good balance, just standard. It compares to some of the other rackets that I've tried, such as the Wilson Blade and the Head Gravity Tour as well. The swing weight is quite interesting, that I felt pretty good about. Actually, it currently sits at 334, which is actually similar to some more classic rackets. Some usually don't associate them with Babolats, but for instance the Wilson Blade V7, which also has a swing weight of 334. You also have the Head Gravity Pro Graphene 360, which has a little bit lower swing weight, which is at 332. And you do have the Yonex V-Core Pro 97 at 332. The Head Pro Tour is a little bit heavier with 335, but it's very similar to some of these rackets for more advanced players. So that was a little bit interesting, but I gotta say that I did enjoy the swing weight a lot. I felt like I was able to swing fairly easy, and it wasn't demanding too much of my arms. So 334 swing weight was actually pretty nice. The string pattern obviously is 18x20, so a little bit more closed than some of the 16x19 that will give you a little bit better feel usually, but I thought it gave me a good sense of control across the board. For my string setup, in this case, in this test, I used the Babolat RPM Blast 18 at 54 pounds, which is quite similar to what I usually use. And I felt like the Babolat RPM did give me a good feel for this racket. It wasn't too bad. Now moving on to the pros of this racket and the two things that I really enjoyed about it. The first one is that I actually felt very connected to this racket. I know I've seen reviews saying that some people did not feel that connected, but I really felt like it was an extension of my arm. And I usually, I will find rackets that either I can hit topspin shots very well with, or I can hit flat shots with. And the Babolat Pure Strike 18x20 actually gave me the option to do both very well. I was able to hit angles, I was able to hit heavy, high shots with lots of topspin, and I was also able to step into the court and take shots early and hit flat shots to take time away from my opponent. So that was definitely a pro of this racket, and I know some people did not feel this way, but that was my take from it. The second pro was very interesting and unexpected. Usually when I play with Babolats, it fits my game pretty well in the sense that it makes the ball bounce quite high, but I do get the problem that sometimes they end up getting short, even though they're still pretty high, heavy balls, but they land short, they don't bounce against my opponent. But this racket, for some reason, I felt like it was just different. Rather than just making the balls bounce upwards after they landed on my opponent's court, I felt like they were also bouncing like through my opponent, so which made it a lot more difficult for him to hit those shots. So definitely felt like it was an interesting aspect of this racket, and I haven't really felt that with a lot of rackets before. Now, the one thing I didn't like that much about this racket was the maneuverability. I have seen some comments before that this racket, especially for less advanced players, it's not the best racket out there, and I think I would have to back up those claims. It was by no means a bad racket, especially for volleys, but it did not offer me the maneuverability that I've gotten with some other rackets, especially comparing, for instance, with the blade. I felt like the blade gave me a little bit of an edge, or the Dunlop CX 200, which I was able to test out on that same day. But it's not bad, but I do feel like for a beginner it could be a little bit more of a struggle using this racket. Overall, my experience with the Babolat Pure Strike 18x20 3rd Gen was really positive. I am actually considering switching to it from my Yonex V-Core Dual 97. I just really enjoyed the hit. I would need to try it a few more times, just making sure I get the same consistent feeling. But I'm actually really positively surprised, and I think it would be a great fit for my game and for a lot of other more advanced baseliners out there. Now, I know just watching a single video about a racket without comparing it to anything else, it's a little difficult to make a decision to purchase it. But if you are interested in watching and knowing how the racket compares to some similar rackets out there, we did shoot a video comparing it to the Babolat Pure Strike 16x19, the Wilson Blade, the Dunlop CX 200, and the Had Gravity. So you can just, if you're interested in watching that video, you can just check it out on the link, and there you'll be able to see it compare with different specs and everything. So that one goes into a little bit more of the comparison side, while this video is mostly just focusing on this one racket. So that's it for today. Make sure, if you do enjoy our channel, you subscribe, you give a like in this video. We're trying to get some nice content for you out there. It's a lot of work to make these videos, but just if you were able to subscribe, that would actually help us out a lot. So once again, make sure you just subscribe, leave us a like, and we'll see you in the next video.